All right, we're starting back in, picking up where we left off. I'm going to add a months ago column. I'm going to call it months, can't type, months ago. And we're going to select the sale date. We're going to go with something I know does work, 0601 2006, I believe. And we do get the months ago column correctly calculated. Actually, I need to go over all the mathematics, but I'm pretty sure that that's correctly calculated. So we're going to go over to the regression tab. I'm going to show you that we do have a master table selected. And when you don't have one selected, it appropriately tells you it's not selected. So I'm going to go with price per building square foot. I'm going to add a regression, and I'm going to show you immediately there's a bug that it starts with undefined. And I'm going to add this one because we're going to refresh to get that to work right. So we're using the building square footage, and because it's undefined, it doesn't show up. But when I hit the refresh button, it takes me back to where I was. Go to the regression, do the building regression, and now I have price per building square foot. So it wants me to select that again, which is fine. We've got a little correlation. We'll just leave it like that. So I'm going to add a new regression. And we have those showing up. Going to add one more for the months ago. So I'm just going to call it time. So I've got 3 regressions, and I want to change the price per land square foot, and it does not change when I select it. So I'm going to refresh. And when I choose one of these, it now shows the price per land square foot. One of the things that I'm going to show you, which is very powerful in this, I'm going to click through some of these. I can immediately get a better, I've played with this a lot, I can immediately get a better R squared by picking the right dependent variable. Even the building square foot will improve as I try to carefully remove outliers. I don't want to overdo it. Overpicking them can be a problem, as we all know. So I'm up to 0.64, and I'm almost up to 0.9. I'm just selecting some of these outliers. So it's all working correctly. I'm going to go over to the project data and show you the master table. Most of the time, it's not doing it this time, but most of the time, this works correctly, but occasionally it does not update unless I click one of these buttons. As strange as it may be, when I click one of these buttons, what will happen is you'll come over here and these will still all be checked even though you have unchecked them from the regression graph. So I'm just letting you know that. I'm not sure if that's going to be a persistent bug or not. So I'm going to go ahead and let's take a look at time. It is true, just so you know, just not something that's going to be critical to you, is that when one regression works better and you have picked the proper variables, all the regressions tend to start working better. So this is the case here. We're getting better correlation as we actually choose just better comparables. So let's just see what this looks like. I mean, we're at 0.84. The building square foot's almost at 0.6. The land is at almost 0.5. So we're just going to move on to the adjustment table. So I've tried this a number of times. This is correct. It's showing me the correct one. but the dollar amounts are not showing up anywhere in the up here at the top. So I can pull these down, which is what I'm going to do. I did not create a location variable, but I could. It's pretty easy. This we will bring up. I'm going to say the building is 12, and I'm going to say the land square foot is 9, just for argument's sake. Actually, I might make that a little smaller because that's an awfully big adjustment, or I might need to make it bigger. We will see. Let's go with 12 on that also. Okay, those are big adjustments, but there's nothing we can do about it. So one of the things we need here is in the box, we need that date that we picked up when we created the date for the months ago. Remember, we had to put in let's just go ahead and show you. We had to put in this date here. So when we put in that date, we're going to want that as being the showing the date here for the subject. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the subject table, because you'll notice we got building square foot and land square foot regressions. So this is the months ago. On the building square foot, we use the square foot variable as the independent variable, and we use the land square foot. So in the subject table, we're going to want that added at the bottom, or anywhere. It really doesn't matter. I mean, just call it, when you've got these headers, call it regression factors, and just add one that says square foot. So it's understandable if you were to ask the question, well, what happens if they choose a different file and they start regressing off of this file? Well, you could, in the subject data, this would be very useful now that I think about it, you could label the major header, like you've got name here and value. Under name, you could use the name of this file, and then all of the variables that they chose. So for example, in this we have chosen land square foot gross as the x-axis, and we have chosen square foot wherever I put it here, square foot. And then time, of course, is based on the date that they chose for the months ago. So if you would just make that as part of the subject table, use these as the name, the header, and then each of the variables that they regressed to. So building square foot, these would all be under this one VR test file. I think you're following me. And then just getting back to the project data, this has been working appropriately. I'm just going to take these out, these 6. Go back to the adjustments, and I now have those showing. Just letting you know what those are. Okay, I'm going to stop this video. I think we're far enough along. If a third video is required, I think I will post that later. I'm sorry, now that I'm thinking of it, make sure these values get saved when in the subject table when you create those added categories down at the bottom. That's it. All right, that's it for today. We'll see about another video later.